And welcome back. You may have seen more and more teens using e-cigarettes. Well, as those numbers appear to be increasing, there's a new study that is shedding some light on the adolescents who use them and the significant levels of chemicals they are exposed to. So according to researchers, these chemicals could potentially cause cancer. According to a report published in the Journal of Pediatrics, teens who use e-cigarettes had as much as 3 times more of these toxic chemicals in their systems compared to teens who didn't vape. Now, joining us now to discuss this in depth is Dr. Ali Kazraian. Thanks so much for being here, Doc.
Thank you for having me.
So I think there is this perception that it's a healthier option, but obviously we're learning that's not so much the case.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing with this, especially for people who are trying to quit smoking, and just generally with e-cigarettes, there are 2 camps. Is one, could this be a potentially healthier alternative to smoking? Could it be a way to potentially quit smoking? And then there's this other camp that are concerned that this could, one, be a gateway drug of introducing the concept of smoking of any kind to people that would never have even thought about smoking. And then the other part is, could this be a gateway drug or an introduction of smoking to teens and adolescents? And there are a number of studies that over the past few years that have shown that teens and adolescents who are exposed to e-cigarettes and the concept of vaping are 2 to 3 times more likely to, even within a year, begin smoking traditional cigarettes. And this comes at a time where we're finding that tobacco and cigarette smoking is kind of falling at an all-time low, which is such a great accomplishment for all the work that's been done towards smoking cessation. So it's really kind of a sad thing to see that there may be a gateway to potentially increasing it, which everyone knows that the health implications of smoking are so negative, and now we're seeing this alternative is not quite as safe as we thought or people thought that it may be.
And there's another misconception. I was looking at an advertisement that actually said clean in the advertisement. But talk a little bit about the chemicals that are in
So this particular study, it was a very great study that looked at the saliva and the urine of 13 to 18-year-old teens and adolescents who smoked e-cigarettes in a recent time frame. And they found that they had 5 different chemicals that you can kind of look them up. I can sit here and go over them. They're benzene, they're ethylene oxide, and a number of different ones that they found. And all of these were associated with carcinogenic toxicities that have been proven in multiple studies in the past. So that's very, very scary for someone and a teen who thinks that this is a cool, fun thing to do that doesn't have any toxicities. And be mindful that this vapor, this heated liquid, this e-juice is basically, you take a smoke, it triggers a filament to heat. These factors, sometimes including nicotine, and we know, the nicotine component of it has a lot of health implications. It increases heart rate, increases blood pressure. It has negative implications on your blood vessels. It thickens or hardens your blood vessels, so it loses its capacity to stretch. That has cardiovascular implications. And a lot of studies have actually found that your risk of not just cigarette smoking, but here specifically with e-cigarettes, a study have come out showing that daily use of e-cigarettes doubles your risk of heart attacks. And if you compound that, if you're an e-cigarette user that also smokes cigarettes, that risk is compounded 5 times. That's profound.
Right. I mean, and I think that's again the misconception. People just they think it's a healthier option. Double the risk of heart attack. Does it make it harder? People are using this also, I've read, as a way to quit smoking cigarettes, but it in fact can make it harder.
Yeah, I mean, studies have not proven that this is actually an effective way of quitting cigarettes. And that's a very difficult thing to do, because some people who are now vaping are worried that if they quit doing this, they're going to fall right back into smoking cigarettes, the tradition, which we know is a unhealthier alternative for sure. But the e-cigarettes and the vaping is not a healthy option. One thing that's actually a nice thing to see, quitting e-cigarettes, the health benefits of that are immediate.
Oh, wow.
It's not like when you quit smoking, it takes some time for you to fall back into the normal, essentially the curves that are equal to someone who doesn't smoke ever. So what I would encourage people who are thinking about quitting smoking cigarettes is to touch base with your primary care physician and try to talk to them about how to quit. There are a number of different ways, including medicines that can help you decrease cravings, decrease the need to try to smoke, and do it in a way that's proactive, in a way that can be very, very effective. And it's a hard thing to do. Quitting smoking is a hard thing to do, and the first thing that you have to do is want to quit. But trying to exchange one habit for another one that has different unhealthy risk factors is probably not the most effective way to do. And as parents, try to talk to your children about the risk of vaping and e-cigarettes, because study after study is showing that the children who start using e-cigarettes have a very high risk of beginning to fall into smoking cigarettes. And not only quitting cigarette smoking is difficult, but it begins a cascade of unhealthy risk for not only cardiovascular risk factors of heart attacks and strokes that are difficult to quit, but the cancer risk factors are very, very high, and they're unnecessary.
Such great information for parents, particularly, but gosh, these teenagers, like, just don't smoke. It's really that simple.
Don't quit smoking. Is probably that and washing your hands are probably the two healthiest things that you can do for yourself.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kazryan.
Absolutely.
As always. And for more information, Dr. Kazryan you can head to Dr. Kazryan's website, which is KazryanUrology.com, or you can listen to him live and call into his radio show, The Conversation. It's on WOKV, and it airs every Saturday starting at 5 o'clock.